Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of live counter review using technical analysis. So for the flow for today, for the flow of today's webinar will be the same as per usual. First, I'll go through the economic calendar. Then afterwards, I'll talk about some of the indices and commodities, and including some of the sectors like the Magnificent Seven, US banks, US semicons, as well as EVs. Then last but not least, also the counters that you have in the Q&A. Yeah. So without further ado, I'll begin. Start of this week tonight, there's some Fed members, FOMC members speaking. So like there's Williams, Bostich, Jefferson. Then tomorrow there's Fed Logan, 1:15 a.m. Afterwards, and tomorrow night there's still FOMC members speaking, Kashkari, Barkin, and Bostich, as well as Collins. Going to Wednesday, there's the usual API crude oil stock at 4:30 a.m. Afterward, followed by some FOMC members speaking. Crude inventories on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Afterwards, going to Thursday, continue to have FOMC members speaking, as well as the usual jobless claims at 8:30 p.m. and the S&P Global manufacturing PMI, that's at 9:45. Then there's also at the same time, there's also composite PMI as well as services PMI. Then 10 p.m. on Thursday, there's home sales. Then moving on to Friday, there's FOMC Williams speaking at 2 a.m. Then at night, there's building permits at 8:30 p.m. as well as new home sales at 10 p.m. So generally for the in terms of economic calendar itself, the whole week mainly dominated by Fed speaks, I guess, and some PMI data on Thursday. Yeah, so that's the main highlights. Okay, I'll move on to the indices and commodities. First up, I'll talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin still remain relatively strong. So in terms of moving averages, last week was just relatively sideways. There was a surge on Sunday, but then today it came back down again. So I think we might see possibly some weakness if it with this it looks like it hit some resistance upon the retest of 106K. So 106K previously was this around this double top area. There was like it was a horizontal resistance previously. So price actually managed to hit this level during this rally. And I think we might see some cooling off here. Because I think today if it today it just erased the gains from yesterday. So if you can't hold above 104K as well as the confluence of the two short-term moving averages, the 5 and 10 MA, this blue and red line around 104K, then we might see some sideways ahead. Short-term support might come around close to 100K, which is this yellow line, the 20 MA, as well as the recent this swing lows. So we might see some range consolidation again, quite similar to what it has done along the way, just move upwards and sideways, then move upwards again. So for now, I think we might see some sideways consolidation next for Bitcoin. Maybe around 100K to 104K around there. Next one I'll talk about is Dow Jones. And so Dow Jones last week, still quite good momentum. So after the gap up after the China US talks, then last week it moved rather sideways but closed the week strong. This week we're seeing a bit of gap down in terms of the futures, but overall still okay. I think we might see I think still okay as long as it holds along the 10 MA, this red line over here. So we might see some pullback. But I think short-term support for now probably around 41.8K, which is last week's swing lows. Then we might do a retest of 10 MA. Going ahead, the next resistance to take note probably around 42.8K to around so 42.8K is this swing high resistance in end March. Then the next resistance above that around 43.3K. So I think we might see some sideways consolidation for Dow Jones going ahead for this week. The next one is Nasdaq. So Nasdaq actually very strong. Actually already retested. It went higher than a previous this blue color line, which was a previous uptrend channel breakdown level. So and then last week moved upwards but quite sideways from Wednesday onwards. Sorry. Then so actually retested this previous range this previous range support level breakdown, which is around 19.2K. So I would expect some resistance over here. Just nice today, it's a bit of a gap down. So I think we might, if it falls below this blue 5 MA line, then we might see price do a bit of a pullback to actually maybe retest this 10 MA. So currently it might be close to 18.5, 18.6K level. So we might see a bit of a slight pullback to do with some sideways ahead. So 18.5K might be the near-term support. And the next support level probably around 18.3, which is this swing high over here. So maybe perhaps some sideways ahead. Then going to S&P 500, quite similar. Last week was quite strong, still holding above the 5 MA over here. But if it breaks below, if you go under it at the start of the week, due to the futures gapping down, then we might see some slight pullback that might take place if it does a reconnect with the 10 MA. So currently 10 MA is around 5770 about there. I think we might rise towards like 5,800 plus. Then we might see some support from over there. In terms of resistance, quite close to a retest of this uptrend channel breakdown, which is this blue color line, similar to Nasdaq as well. And also it's close to this previous range consolidation. 5970 was a previous this range support in February before the breakdown. So over here, previous support might turn to resistance. So going ahead, I think above 5970, we likely to see quite strong resistance. Then we might more likely to see a bit of a pullback and maybe some consolidation ahead. Yeah. Then that's it for the indices. I'll move on to next one is gold. So gold, someone mentioned can't see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Yeah, just checking. Okay, thanks. Okay. Yeah, so sorry, Mani, maybe you can rejoin and see whether you can see my screen. Yeah, but thanks for all your feedback. Yeah, so next one I'll move on to gold. So for gold, I think a bit of a a bit of a weakness recently, but I think still overall quite resilient. So last week found some support upon prior resistance, this 3130 level. Yeah, but currently there's below this support level, previous support 3250. So I think for now we might just see a bit of a sideways still. Now short-term resistance might come from this 10 and 20 MA, this red and yellow line over here, which is around close to 3270, 3300. And so overall, I think this week we might see some sideways consolidation going ahead. Going to weekly is around, it did a reconnect with the 10 MA on the weekly. So yeah, overall might see some sideways as well. Key resistance about 3,320. Yeah, so that's for gold, maybe a bit of sideways. Next one is oil. So for WTI oil, yeah, did found after finding support around this 55.50 level, did a rebound, but strong resistance was at this 63.50. Then currently doing a bit of a pullback, did a retest of the 10 MA, then doing a slight bounce. Some resistance as it is still below 5 MA for now, so some resistance at 62.2. So if this continue hold as resistance, then we might see some continued pullback or sideways ahead. Yeah, and the current support next one will be around $60 over here. So we're likely to see some sideways ahead. Yeah, but I think $60 might be a support from this, because this was like over here, this was some resistance before price broke out. Then they retest and bounce. So overall might do some consolidation. You can't go above 62.2, but 60 might still hold as a bit of support. Then below 60, next key support to look out will be this 50, around 58 over here. Yeah, then next one I'll talk about VIX. So I think VIX has dropped until quite low. It's near I think it's some area where the market could do a bit of a pullback because it back to around this support. So actually below this, it actually went under this buy trend line support over here last week. Yeah, so I think overall the around 15 to 17 plus 15 to around 15 to 18 here will probably be some support for the VIX. Yeah, that we might see some complacency now. Then for the resistance wise, I think overall doing this, when VIX is coming down, overall the 10 MA has been a bit of resistance. So this red line might still serve as a bit of resistance at around 20.2 for now. Then if it goes above that, the next resistance will probably be around 22.3, which is this breakdown level and the 20 MA level. So for VIX, we might see maybe a bit of a sideways as well. It's quite low now, but yeah, we might still see some sideways going ahead lah. So the key is to see whether it still holds below the 10 MA this red line. If not, then we might see some increased volatility if it closes above it. Okay, next one is copper. So that's the last one to talk about. So copper generally nothing much, quite sideways. Support around 4.58. Next support level around 4.48. Currently some resistance I think from this trend line over here. So as well as some horizontal resistance at 4.72. So we might see some consolidation for the time being. Yeah, so that's it for indices commodities. I'll move on to the sector. So first I'll start off with the Magnificent Seven. So I'll talk about this Roundhill Magnificent Seven ETF which represents the sector. So Mag 7 quite strong. So did they after the China US trade was made the bullish momentum managed to carry it over to above this trend line over here. So before that, I was expecting here to be some resistance at around 49.5, but afterwards market was more bullish because of what happened, then managed to hold above that. So still very strong, holding above 5 MA over here. Some resistance possibly coming from this trend line previously, around 52.5 lah. Next resistance probably around 53.8, which was this consolidation breakdown level. And so over here, I would think is some resistance already. Then I think for now, if it goes below under the 5 MA, because of the gap down, we might see some slight pullback take place. Maybe a retest of the 10 MA over here in red lah, where then it might find some support. So maybe similar to this phase over here. So before that, there was a rally upwards and they did a pullback to find some support again. So over here, some support for Mag 7, this ETF will probably be around $50, I think, for now, around there. Yeah, then also 49.50 to 50 lah. So this was a previous swing high that we returned to give support for now. So possibly some pullback to retest to this 10 MA for now. Then I'll move on to the individual stocks. So first one, Meta. So for Meta, I think last week was after the gap up brought it above this horizontal resistance of 632. Afterwards, it went upwards and did a retest. So for now, I think we might still see some support coming in around 622, I feel, because it's still above the 10 MA level over here, as well as 622 was like this the low price of the Monday gap up last week. So over here, it might still hold as a bit of consolidation over here. Yeah. Then shorter resistance probably somewhere closer to 670, which was this. If it goes, if it managed to retest the recent swing high, and then 670 previously was this some resistance before price went down lower. So overall, I think still okay as long as it's over above the 10 MA. Yeah, for Meta. Then next one I'll talk about is Apple. So Apple quite sideways despite the recent rally. So it's finding some resistance. This one is finding some resistance around the 213 level. Tested a few times over here. But some positive thing is holding in a more higher level as compared to here. Previously, when it tested 213, then it came back down to like 194 a few times. Then over here last week, I think due to bullish sentiment as well, we managed to hold at a higher lows around like 210. So I think for now, if there's some pullback, I will still expect these higher lows to hold up. Some support coming from the MA for now is around possibly around 205 with the 10 MA and 20 MA levels. Yeah, and 206, 207 was like the swing lows of last week. So we might see some consolidation, possibly in the flat pattern over here. So possibly some pullback and then some consolidation first. Then afterwards, if you can break above 213, then possibly some further upside towards the next key return at 225 now for Apple. And some more slightly consolidation for now, which has been doing since mid-April. Next one, Amazon. So Amazon last week, gap up managed to get above this previous swing high around 205. Then afterwards, they built a pullback from midweek onwards. below 5 MA for now. So I think we might see some slight pullback, maybe to reconnect the 10 MA over here. So perhaps that might be around like 198, 199, those kind of levels at the start of this week. So afterwards, then we might see some sideways consolidation again with some resistance around 205, 206. So overall, maybe some consolidation here. Yeah, but I think as long as you can hold above the 10 MA, still okay, I guess. Since previously there was a consolidation phase over here and then broke out above 192, then I think now with the huge gap, it just probably needs to do a bit of a consolidation. Next one is Netflix. So I think Netflix overall still one of the very strong counters. Yeah, the time so this trend line was like a served as a bit of resistance when it first tested it during this rally. Afterward, it sideways over here and then managed to break new high last week, 1160 again. So yeah, I think overall still very likely to be strong. Some pullback for now, possibly could just retest this 1160 level, could hold as a bit of support. We have the 10 as well as the 5 MA levels close to it as well. So this would likely be resistance and support if there it is a bit of pullback. And so I would expect some consolidation, but I would still think Netflix would remain still quite strong over here because of period yeah, quite nice kind of price action. Okay, the next last one, I'll talk about last two, which is Alphabet as well as Microsoft. So for Alphabet, this one, yeah, still looking a bit weaker than the rest because Alphabet doing this uptrend support breakdown after that didn't manage to climb back above it. Then still finding resistance at this horizontal level of around 166, despite the rally last week. So I think we might see some further weakness ahead because it's weaker than some of the other stocks in this sector. So I think we might see a bit of a pullback again towards like possibly 159, 160 over here, where there's the MA supports over here. So yeah, maybe just consolidation again, where it can't still cross above like 166 resistance. Possibly like some trend line support over here as well. So there's like if low end probably 157. So around here, this area will probably be a support. Okay, last one I'll talk about for the Magnificent 7 section is Microsoft. So Microsoft very strong. I think after the results, the price action was actually very strong. Gap up, then consolidation break above 437. And also this swing high as well as a trend line resistance over here at 446 last week from the bullish momentum. Okay, then also tested 454 level. I think overall still very very strong price action. Holding above 5 MA. So I think if there's a dip this week, I think 10 MA should hold it. Currently 443 now. So I think overall, I think this would still perform quite strongly as compared to the others. So possibly a slight dip, then it could continue to go upwards as long as the 10 MA continue to hold it. Yeah, above 454, then next strong resistance probably at the previous high would be around close to 465. And so that's for the Max 7. Some counters are a bit stronger than the rest, like I think like Netflix, Microsoft, and some a bit weaker like Apple, Google. So that's some of the laggards. Yeah, so going back to the index itself, possibly we'll expect some resistance over here between like 52.50 to 54. There's some support probably around 49, 50 to 50, around like 50 each dollars over here. Yeah, so maybe some consolidation this week. Okay, next sector I'll talk about is the financials. So financials actually very strong. So previously, I think previously over here, since we managed to break above this trend line recent spot around $49, we still managed to consolidate. And afterwards, last Monday gap up above this swing high resistance of $50.50. Then still maintaining above the 5 MA for a very long time over here and continue to close well on Friday. So I think it's quite inside of this previous high around here, like close to 52.40. So overall, I think financial based on the ETF over here, this XLF should be still performing quite well. Uh, a dip could be finding support around $50, 60, $50, 70, I think over here. Yeah, around the 10 MA as well. So overall, still very strong. I'll move on to the individual bank stocks. So first up, JP Morgan, you can see is very strong. Um, so last week, for the Monday gap up, managed to hold above this 262 level, which was a bit of a support and resistance level, but managed to hold over here and make higher high, and price is also trending along the 5 MA. So I think for now some support probably around like 259 to 263. Probably if it does a retest of the 10 MA, that would likely find support. Yeah, so then afterwards, if you can hold, then if you can make a new high again, then if you can break the 269, then possibly you can retest this next resistance close to 277, 278 around it. So overall, still quite strong price action. The next one is Bank of America. Yeah, Bank of America also very strong last week. Similar gap up above this 43.70, then still managed to hold along the 5 MA for a very long time already. So I think with that, today the gap down also a little bit only. So some support I think for now probably around 43, like 43 to 43.70, probably some support there. Yeah, similarly might do a retest of the 10 MA then move upwards again. So you can break the highs of last week, the next resistance probably close to around 45.60 upwards to about 46.70 or there. Okay, move on to Wells Fargo, also similar story, gap out above resistance on this 75, then still holding well. So I think if for now, some support probably 10 MA level around here, 74.50 perhaps. Yeah, then if you can break the highs of last week, then most likely we see try to test the next resistance level around 78.50, and then next one is around $80.50. Okay, the last one I'll talk about Citigroup, also similar kind of price action or gap up above this 74.40 previous swing high. Then some support for now probably I think probably 73, around 70, but there may which is around 73, perhaps 73.60 around there. Yeah, then the next recent level to watch out probably around close to 79.80. Yeah, so in general for the banks, I think very strong. If you look at just the index itself, quite all the banks are actually quite tracking this quite well. So we'll still expect to make higher highs again for the XL. Okay, next one I'll talk about is the semicon sectors. So for semicon sector also quite strong after with the gap up above this 4,730 resistance, and currently still holding. So this is the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. So still holding at the 5 MA over here around 4,900. Next resistance probably is around like close to 5,100 over here. And next one is probably 5,300. So for now, I think we might see a bit of a consolidation. Yeah, to maybe wait for the 10 MA to catch up over here. So some good support will probably be this swing high that broke around 4,700 to 4,800. That might serve as some support if it does a retest of the 10 MA. Okay, then moving on to the individual stocks. So first up is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA recently actually has a bit of regained some strength really. So this was a downtrend previously. It was trading within this downtrend channel itself. But recently, after all the news that came out with it and the recent bullish sentiment, price managed to break above this channel last Monday with the gap up above 122, then it just continued rally higher. So I think for now, some resistance around this 135 over here. There's a bit of resistance. Next resistance previously was around 143 around there. Yeah, so that's the next resistance to take note. For now, I think we might see some consolidation because it's quite high the recent rally has been quite strong, and it's a bit running above the moving average. So we might see perhaps a bit of a pullback first, wait for the MAs to catch up. Then some support for now might be around like 125, 126 about there. So if it does a 10 MA, if it does a retest of the 10 MA, that would be quite a good short-term support for you to bounce. So I think maybe some consolidation in the short term after a rally over here. Yeah, there looks like some resistance for now at 135, where it's just holding there for 3 days and a bit of a gap down to today. Then AMD has also caught up quite a lot recently. So AMD, good thing is that last week managed to hit above this swing high resistance of 115. Then last week still maintaining the close above it. So I think the key is to see whether today can still hold above 115. If it can, then maybe we'll still see some strength. If not, we might see some pullback, perhaps towards like 110, perhaps this level, and wait for the 10 MA to catch up again. So that might be a good support if it does retest the 10 MA level. Yeah, then above 115, above 115, above 122, the next strong resistance, probably around like 128, as well as 131 about there. So that's for AMD. Okay, then for TSM also quite strong. I'll get above this horizontal resistance of 182. And then some previous support. Holding as a bit of resistance on 194. The next level of resistance probably around close to 200 to 203 level. So for now, I think similar 118, a bit of a gap down 189 currently pre-market. So if it does a retest it might do a retest of 10 MA to get some support. Finding some bit of resistance, and overall today the whole market is gapping down. So yeah, possibly some support could be found at 185 perhaps over here, this swing low, as I wait for the 10 MA to catch up. Okay, now top next one is ASML. Yeah, so for ASML, yeah, gap up, and yeah, so I think for now we might see a retest of the 10 MA. Okay, similar story lah. So maybe 730 will be some support where I wait for the 10 MA to catch up, then we're likely to see a bit of a bounce. Yeah, then some resistance, probably I think this 770 to 780 resistance should be quite a bit strong, because previously over here, a few retests over here, price couldn't get above it. Then after it went down. So coming back over here, likely you see some resistance hold over here. Okay, then Marvel's still remain one of the weaker ones. So this one, but with all the sentiments, good sentiment, still managed to break above this 61.20 level. So it's still holding above there. So I think what we need to see is for this level to remain resistance support over here. Then we might have a chance of continue to go outwards. Yeah, over here, fortunately, there's still close to the 20 and 10 minute levels really capable of moving upwards. So I think over here, the retest might still hold for a bit of a bounce. Then maybe we do some sideways with resistance from last week highs like 67 to about $70, also some resistance. Okay, then last but not least, I'll talk about the two more, which is Broadcom and Intel. So Broadcom also moving quite well last week. Managed to retest around this horizontal resistance at around 235. Above 235, next key one is around 246. Yeah, so for now, I think a bit of a gap down. Perhaps most likely to retest the 10 MA support currently to around 217. Then we might see some sideways consolidation going for now. Then next one, Intel. Intel overall is a bit of generally very range, but let's see. Last week there's a bit of a break above this the usual resistance of 2150 over here. Then retest around the 10 MA level. So if this can hold, I think that might be positive. So hopefully this holds, then this might become a resistance turn support level. Then to try and make a higher hit. So the next resistance probably could be this area. Previously, the breakdown will be around 2360 about that. Yeah, so hopefully this will support that we might see some further bounce ahead for Intel. So I think for looking back at the semicon index, Philadelphia Semicon Index, I mean the current rally is driven mostly by the tech names. So um, I think we might see the rally getting a bit stretched for now, with then perhaps a bit of a slight pullback. I think some support will likely come if it does retest the 10 MA in general for the semicon counters. Yeah, since overall they're still the ones leading the market for now. And last but not least, I'll talk about some of the EV names. So first, starting with Tesla. So Tesla also very strong recently after it broke above this horizontal resistance, which tested multiple times at this 292, then moving upwards. So for now, some resistance will probably be this swing high previously around 360, and the next one is around 377, this area lah. So that will be the two resistance to take note for Tesla. As for the short-term price action, very strong recently, but I think we might see some consolidation. I think should be quite similar to the semicon names because they are the ones that rally so much recently. Then I think now there's a bit of with the future coming off a little bit, might see some consolidation see some pullback and consolidation take place. Maybe waiting for the 10 MA to catch up again for us to provide some support. So for now, I think support might come back to like 320 to 330 around here, this area lah. If it does reconnect at 10 MA, that would be nice for like a compounds and consolidation going ahead. The next one is Xpeng. Yeah, so Xpeng, this one is doing better. So still a lot of resistance, $21, but just consolidation, a bit of higher lows being formed along the way. So if you can hold the higher lows along the way, then that will be nice. So some support, possibly hopefully some support around this 1980 level resistance and support. Then if it breaks above 21 again, then we might see higher highs towards like 2330. That's the next resistance likely. Then I'll talk about two more, which is NIO and Rivian. So first one for Rivian, actually very strong recently. Break above some of the resistance like 1330 as well as this 1450. So likely, I think there should be a chance to retest this swing high again close to 1650. Yeah, then for now, some support might come from this horizontal breakout of last week around $15. Yeah, then yeah, I think still one of the stronger ones for now. And last one, NIO. Yeah, NIO, this one I think still one of the weaker ones, actually just consolidating sideways, but I haven't actually even retested this swing high over here at 440. So I think not much, I guess. Probably just sideways again, the 380 support and resistance around 420. Okay, so that's it for the counters. I'll move on to the question you all have. You all have in the chat. Okay, actually, I'll answer some of the like qualitative questions first. First up, okay, I see there's a question. Do you think there's a change in terms of the trend for S&P? Could we see another leg higher from here? Have we already seen the lows for the year, or do you think we'll revisit the April lows later this year? Okay, so I had previously, I think in my previous webinars, I think I said that I still think it's a bear market ready. So over here, I think before the China US like which caused this price action over here, like, I was thinking maybe around here for S&P like around 5,700, 5,800 would be some resistance. Because this was a swing high and this was a 200 MA level. But now that with some more positive sentiment, right? Then I would think likely here still hold as a bit of resistance. Like possibly now close to 6,000 would still be some resistance from this range breakdown that could act as a resistance. And then overall this was a previous uptrend channel was trading during the bull market. And now I think we might just do a bit of retest and come off again. Another thing why I feel that the bearish trend has not changed is because the VIX is quite low right now. So whenever VIX comes off below 20, I think it's time to be a bit more cautious lah. Like 15, like currently the strong support is around 15 to 18 around here. So it's currently quite close. So I think if the VIX snaps back out, then we might see a pullback leg in terms of the index itself. Then another one is if you look at the fear and greed index, right? So this is something I think I looked at as well. Currently it's close to, I think it's in the greed category, quite close to extreme greed. So from the extreme fear, like start last month, we are rallied back to greed, now 71 or 100. So coming around here previously was like quite a bit of a resistance. When it comes to greed, then we might see a pullback. So uh so I think in terms of the trend for SPDR, I don't think we have changed from I don't think we have changed to a bullish leg higher from here. But in terms of whether we'll revisit the April lows, I'm maybe less confident of that now. Not sure whether we will actually come back down all the way here for now. It might just be like a choppy kind of range over here. If like let's say Donald Trump wants to defend the market itself. So maybe we might see, I think I'm more confident right now if there's a pullback, we might retest like this 5,400, 5,500, this area over here. Then the best case is like it does a like sideways chop over here to maintain this breakout as a support. Yeah. Okay. Also, there's another question which is on the Moody's downgrading. So, normally US market will not do well around May or June. Do you think the downgrading will be the issue that causes stock market to free fall? Actually, US market does quite well in the summer periods, like May, including May and June. So, I think if you look at the data for May in the past 10 years, right, only despite like sell in May, right, there's only one time where in the past 10 years where May was in the red. So overall, I think should be based on seasonality, historically, it should be still quite good. In terms of downgrading, do I think the stock market could free fall? I think we might see a bit of a pullback in terms of free fall, I don't think that will probably happen. Like, I think but most likely we'll see a bit of pullback. So going back to the most recent one, I think was around here. So yeah, I actually went to did a check over the weekend. So this was like, I remember that time in August 2023, the Fitch actually downgraded the US. So over on that day itself, after that happened, S&P was down minus 1.3. Then afterwards, it kick-started a bit of a correction. Overall, it was down like, I think around 10% for the correction then before that rebounding higher. So this time, I think we would see a pullback, but in terms of whether a crash would happen just because of the downgrade, I don't think so, because I don't think it's something very unexpected because like it's just the same reason because the US that is rising and they're not sure whether the growth can able to compensate for it. But I think we'll see a bit of pullback most likely. Then more likely if whether the stock market will free fall, I think most likely that will really depend on the more towards the tariff talks that's ongoing. Like I think the more important one is like Donald Trump was saying in 2 or 3 weeks times, because he can't negotiate with all the countries, then he will actually issue letters to them. So if they don't need, he said like if they don't negotiate in good faith, then you will get some letters and it might be the rate you see, it might be the same rate as you get in the April 2nd, the reciprocal tariff. So I think that might be more of a dangerous factor as compared to the credit downgrade, in my opinion. Yeah, but thanks for all your questions on all these events. I think it's very useful. Okay, I'll move on to the TA portion for the individual stocks. Yeah, sorry to keep all of you waiting. First up is some of the crypto-related ones like Mara, Riot, BTBT, and Hive. So for Mara, I think overall still just holding on to here. So good thing is still holding above this 6. Like Mara is still holding above 1470 level. But the resistance at this 1680 is still holding. So I think at most for now, maybe still just quite sideways for now, most likely. Given that I think Bitcoin is also ran up quite a lot. and then most likely to turn a bit sideways. Yeah, so I think for now, most likely sideways between like $15 to like 16.80 for now for Mara. Then for Riot, I think all of them quite similar. Riot is a bit stronger. So this one, um, there was a break above 870. This recent they're holding as support. So if this one need to see whether they can continue to hold over here, especially with the 10 MA coming along as well. So we need to see whether this 850, 870 area can hold as support. If it can, then we might see there's a potential for some further bounce here towards the next resistance around $10. Yeah, so this one is a bit better for the Mara. BTBT. BTBT, this one I think I was after there was some earnings so then it shot upwards afterwards. So I think this one, if it can hold above, if this one can hold above like 225, then there could be a chance to retest next resistance at around 248 around here. Then for Hive, it's yeah, this one also looking a bit similar to the Riot earlier. So this one breaking above the resistance at 184 retest, and then managed to push higher on Friday. So this one, if you can sustain the momentum, then there's a chance that you could test the next resistance around 220, around 227 over here. So that's for the different crypto related counters. Behind BY, your counters are VSCO, CLS, and Snow. VSCO, Victoria's Secrets. Let's see. On Victoria, I think overall it's like previously was a downtrend. Afterwards, it started to move sideways, and some positive developments recently is that break above the previously with the consolidation, then resistance like $20. Then after last Monday where everything just kept up, this one managed to throughout the week managed to go upwards and clear this swing high resistance. Yeah, it just digested these reasons for a while and managed to clear it. So the good thing will be that hopefully you can stay above this 2270 level. Hopefully stays along this 5 MA as well. Then there might be a chance to push high. Assuming that this is a break of this range over here. Then the next resistance, strong resistance will probably be around 20, close to 27, this level over here. So hopefully, if you can, as long as you can maintain this breakout of these reasons, then there's a chance to I think there's a chance to go higher. Next one is CLS Celestica. So for Celestica, this one also looking good. So last week broke above this swing high resistance $101 and trending higher along the 5 MA. So if this one as long can hold above this, like you can hold like 108 to push higher, then it could still continue to trend upwards to try to retest the next support breakdown previously over here, which was like 122 level. Yeah, so that's the next key reason to take. Yeah. Then for Snowflake, also looking quite good, just trending very smoothly along the 5 MA for now. 166 previously was a breakout these reasons, move sideways, move higher, then now sideways again. So for now, some reason we are seeing around 184. So this need to break for some upside. But next one, there's some reasons probably around 188. 188, then afterwards is 193 around here. So this will be the previously quite a strong reasons to take area to take note. So for now, maybe a bit sideways, but I think as long as still continue this move trend, we still okay. As long as like 177, the 10 MA at least must defend over here, this red color line. Must defend the breakout above this level. Then there could be a chance to continue the upwards trend for Okay, high position counters Walmart, C Limited, and Palantir. Okay, for Walmart, I think would be a bit sideways for now because it's quite choppy. Um, Last week after the results, it was kept down, but moved higher. Then, then afterwards, Friday quite around $98, but now it's a bit gapping down. So I think overall we might see some sideways over here with some reasons still about 99 for down. And I think Trump was like targeting Walmart a bit. So like he was saying then telling to eat the tariffs or something like that. So yeah, so I think for now we might see a bit of a sideways lah. So overall, strong support, good support will still come in around 91, 92, I think. Okay. Then some reasons like 99. Yeah, above 99 next reasons like 102. So probably some sideways first, I guess, for Walmart. Yeah, then for C limit, I think it's very strong. So for C, let me to go to some of the previous levels. So for C, I think it's after the results it was gap up, then only move higher a bit. Could do a bit of a sideways first. So short terms now there's a bit of reason that 164 bit of pause right now. Support will come in like 155, 156 for now. Or perhaps waiting for the 10 MA to catch up a little bit. So maybe you see a bit of a consolidation first, but as long as it hold above 10 MA over here, I think it might still gradually move higher. Yeah, next key reasons probably is after after 164, next key one is around 174, the next resistance. Okay, then for Palantir, okay, for Palantir, I think this one also quite strong. Actually, after the results it was kept down, but afterwards just recover above it and break off this 125 recent. Now it's holding above it. It needs to continue to hold above it, I guess, to carry on the trend. So for now, there was something important, the support will be to hold like 121. 121, this level must hold, which was also this breakout at the 10 MA level. So you must continue to hold at this level, then we might have a chance for higher highs. Yeah, so I think overall still looking okay, as long as this 120, 121 level is holding as support. The next one is on Teladoc, CLOU and GME. Teladoc, I think for now, nothing too much has changed. Looks still very sideways between like 680 to 770. Yeah, so it looks very sideways for now, unless there's a break. Unless there's a break of this 770, then we might try to go towards the next resistance like 830, 840. Yeah, if not, we might just still remain quite sideways. CLOU is the global X cloud computing ETF. So for this last week, last Monday, the resistance 2250 sideways. A bit of a resistance for now at this 2350, which was like this swing previous range support breakdown and the real resistance. So for now, maybe a bit of a sideways consolidation with some support coming from 10 MA, which is catching up around 2270 perhaps. So perhaps I think for now, overall still the trend is still okay. But perhaps a bit of consolidation first. Then if you can break this 2350 again, the next key resistance might come from like 24 to 2470 about there. Yeah. For this cloud computing area. Next one, GameStop. GameStop, I think very still okay, but it's just sideways. I think it's mainly just trading between like $26 to $29. So I think nothing much has changed unless it can break above this 29, which is quite a strong resistance over here from this like gap ups, which afterwards there was a sell off. So 29 remains a key resistance to try to break. Above 29, the key next resistance will be like 31, yeah, 31, and then 34, like. Yeah, so still nothing much. I think still in the range unless we can see a good break above this $29 level. The next one is on GE Healthcare and Carrier. So for GE Healthcare, I think this one is I think starting to perhaps looks a bit better. So this trend line is still holding it, like this downtrend resistance line, still holding as resistance, but we can see overall this is a gradual climb up over here, which is maintain a range, and there's a move upwards range, move out. So last Monday gap down, there was a gap up, then a bit of a pull back a bit, but I think as long as you can still maintain above these previous resistance like 71, 30 over here, which is also a 10 MA, this level must hold. Then I think there's a chance to break above this downtrend resistance line. For now, maybe still in a bit of this pullback phase. Need to hold this level, then there's a chance to break above it. So currently, if it does break above it, the resistance for now probably around 77 from the gap up last month. 77, then next one is around $80 for GE Healthcare. Next one for Carrier Global. Carrier Global also looking better now. Yep. So this one I think is still trend following. So break consolidation over here, break above 72 with the gap up. Gap up, it's still holding above 5 MA and pushing higher on Friday. So I think short term support for now, if it for now would be like 73. The lows of last week, so 10 MA is catching up. If you can break above the Friday highs again, then I think we still like to see it go higher. So next resistance will be around 77 to $78 this area over here. 78 was like a previous this range consolidation breakdown. There was a gap down, then turn to bounce back, turn to resistance and price pull further. So this 78 will be quite a key resistance. Okay, next question is on Fraser Logistics, Maple Tree Logistics Trust, and uranium. What's the trends and two support resistance levels? Okay, first one I talk about is Fraser Logistics and Commercial Trust. Okay, so I think in terms of the trend, previously it was a downtrend. For now, I think the haven't come on the downtrend now, but more towards a sideways count. So just range consolidation. I think support wise, this 75.5 cents to 78.5 cents for now. Resistance probably 82.5 cents and 85.5 cents for now. Yeah, so I think for now still quite sideways trend. I think if it does come back down to 75.5 this again, then likely to do a bounce again from the second retest, and previously over here we had high volume. Then MLT, what's the trend? MLT is sideways. So overall, long-term wise, it's a downtrend. For now, a bit sideways, but I think still looking a bit weak. So because after the sell-off over here, broke below 118, right? Support, then to resistance, then we can see there's some support 108 now. But there's a bit of lower highs forming. And support for now 108, but I think if it's broke, there could be a chance it's being broken. Then I think there's better support with 101 that could hold the price for a bounce down. See, this was like the sell off high volume then the bounce. So this if it does touch again, this will be a second time it does retest for a bounce. In terms of resistance for now, probably 113, I think 113 as well to about 117 or right. Yeah, so that's for MLT. Then next one, SRUUF, this Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. So this OTC, so it's a bit low, quite lower volume, but in terms of the trend, I think it's trying to get out of a bit of a downtrend over here to a bit more of a kind of sideways. But I don't think it'll be very strong as well because it's a very long-term downtrend. So previously it was like $20+ and dropped all the way to it was from 25 until 13. It's starting to come up with a little bit, but still should be still quite a lot of resistance along the way. So for now, I would think probably sideways. Very good support would be like 15, this $15 stop, which is broke out 15.20. And then resistance will likely hold at this 16.70 level. Next one will be this $18 level. Yeah, so I think for now, most probably it's quite sideways for now. Okay, hi James, your counters KLAC, LMT, and Cisco. Okay, KLA Corporation. Okay, for this, I think generally quite range. The trend probably quite range bound over here. Last Monday kept up, clearing this resistance at 770s. So for now, probably we might see some sideways again because the rise was quite fast like over here. The MA might wait for the MA to catch up a little bit first. So I think we might see some short-term consolidation with then if it does retest the 10 minute, that will provide some support. Then next key resistance will be this 825 level over here. So overall, I think we might see some short-term consolidation. But as long as you can hold above like this 770 level, continue to consolidate above it, then that will still look be better. For long market, I think overall still very range bound. Just that recently it's actually made into there was a bit of a tighter range being formed. So since rebounding from this 420 level, price actually just generally traded between 450 to about 480, 483 now. So I think for now probably quite sideways. As Wednesday retested around here and rebounded. So we might see price try to uh go a bit try to maybe test like 473. This will be some short-term resistance away. 473, then followed by 483, 42. Yeah, so I think overall we might just see price just continue this sideways over here. Then for next one, Cisco. Cisco, I think after the earnings, it actually retested this resistance 60, around 65, 80, then dropped down a little bit. For now, I think overall we might see some consolidation after the retest of this resistance. Support probably will be this like 6180 level, this resistance that is cleared. So probably some sideways. I think maybe some sideways consolidation first after like this retest of resistance. Okay, hi Sharon, good evening. Two support resistance for Alphabet C, Coinbase and Meta. Yeah, for Alphabet C, resistance, I think for now is this 168.50. Next resistance probably like 175.50. Then in terms of support, one good support for now probably like 162 about there. Next one is around 157, I feel. And for Coinbase, I think support right now might be first level of support might be this deep swing low close to 240. Then next one will be, I think, probably open price. Also was this previous swing high around 230 and 240, some near-term supports. Because of resistance, there's a bit of resistance from this previous support breakdown around 268. Afterwards, the next resistance, I feel the strong one might be around 302, this over here. So previously this was a range, then there's a breakdown. Afterwards, now it's coming back up to retest this previous broken range. For Meta support resistance, Meta now some support around 627, this level. Then the next support probably around close to 610 over here. And then resistance like 660, then maybe 660, then 680 around there. The next one is CyberArk software. I think for now, most probably still range bound. Like it tested this key resistance at 360, still holding sideways for now. So for now, yeah, after earnings also over here looks like can't manage to break out. So I think for now, maybe still sideways. Some support around like 345 perhaps. So maybe still sideways consolidation. Yeah, but if it forms a higher low over here, then towards next time if usual, then I think there could be a chance to try to break for the resistance again. For on semicon, on semicon, I think previously downtrend, but starting to come out a little bit with the break of this 4150 level. Some resistance still holding around here, 46. So I think for now, maybe most probably sideways, I think. A bit sideways consolidation first. With some they might do some sideways or waiting for 10 MA to catch up. Maybe just consider between the 43 to 46 perhaps for the time being first. Yeah, then if it can continue hold above the 10 MA, then I think there could be a chance next time to break for this 46 or 60. Okay, I think there's a very popular counter which is UnitedHealth. So I'll talk about it. UnitedHealth. Yeah, so for now, yeah, there was a gap down on the back news last week. I think for now, it could be trying to do a retest of this 300 uh like $307 we can perhaps a retest of the 10 ME, sorry, 5 ME over here. So I think first retest we might see some resistance again because it's still in a downtrend now. Like those uh like um like the deep buyers over here look to sell over here like this from if they does fill the gap and the 5 ME. So over here might retest then find a bit of resistance. Then I think we might most likely pull back again. Then it could do uh, a double bottom, right, around this 248 level, with a lower low. Then afterwards, then we might have a bigger rebound afterwards. So that's my take on UNH. Yeah, some of the next support levels below 248, I would think probably around 233. I think. Yeah, that could be the another level. This one just, I think still wait and see. I think maybe a bit of rebound first, then I think a perhaps another leg down in the downtrend. Okay, next one XLV, which is the this spider healthcare fund. So I think for now it's a bit of a double bottom for now. So most likely bound in then yeah, some reasons for now probably around this 135.70 level, then followed by 139 over here. So possibly range bound I think for now from the retest of these lows recently. Next one, Spotify. I think Spotify is still very nice. So this was like a double bottom 490. Then I think after the results, it was a gap down, but afterwards, managed to recover above it. To like 618 to hold above this neckline resistance. Then we tested this previous high, pull back a bit, then hold as this resistance as support at 618. So now is we're seeing it's a very nice, I think it's quite nice pattern over here, which is possible bull flag. So as long as it maintains above this 618 level, the structure, but still bullish structure, then I think could see a break above this 658 for higher highs. Yeah, so I think overall Spotify still is quite bullish. Next one, DPZ, Domino Pizza. For Domino's, I think for now also looking not too bad actually. So after results, after earnings, still managed to hold above this 473 key resistance. Tested this resistance for 898, still holding a range bound pattern. So I think as long as this range still holding above 470s over here, then I think if there's a break above 497, 498, then there's a chance to make a higher high towards to test 515 as the next resistance. Yeah. Yeah, if it goes up, we probably retest this trend line as well. So I think for now still range first, but if there's a breakout, then it could make a higher high. Next one, STZ Constellation Brands. So Constellation Brand, I think this one is actually not bad. Looks like a possible bounce for now because previously there was this range consolidation break over neckline. Key reasons 189. I think it was also warm because Berkshire also bought into this counter. So we might see continued bounce to perhaps at least test like 205 next. 205, then next one is the next result after that is the gap at 215. Yeah, so as long as we maintain the core above this breakout, I think should be we could see some further bounce again. Next one, Yum China. Yum China Hong Kong Exchange. Okay, I think overall it's a very range bound. Since September last year, just or just very range bound. Currently, the range is between 3 to 3, like around 330 to 370. After earnings also did nothing much to change the trend, just still range. So I think we might just see the range continue. Yeah, unless 330 breaks, then we might see a breakdown. But for now, still just range. Next one, Meituan, Hong Kong Exchange. Yeah, for Meituan, I think still range, but I think still more, still the down, still in a bit of a downtrend. Because like this previous support, after the breakdown at 142, still turn to resistance, then still lower highs, just a bit more range more recently. So I think at most maybe still like 120, 125 is possibly some support. Then next support is around 121 from this previous range resistance. So I think most likely still just likely to consolidate sideways for now. Okay, then there's a question on Lingo. Yeah, this one actually very bullish. Uh, Yeah, so this one after the earnings, it just managed to just go past this 440 previous high. For now, we are seeing is uh break then consolidation break above 504 resistance. Possibly it looks like another consolidation taking place for now. So yeah, I think for now, as long in terms of the very short term momentum, I think as long as it holds above 10 MA, which is this 514 level, should be still quite strong momentum. For now, I think we might just see a bit of a range, perhaps some range bound consolidation first. So if 514 some support, then next one is 504. Yeah. So perhaps some range bound consolidation first after a strong for Duolingo. But uptrend is still very much still very strong. Then there's a question of Opfi. Opfi, I think still okay. So this was a range previously between like 850 to 1070. Then there was a gap up. I think after results gap up above that, still holding above that and holding above 10 MA right now. So some support right now is this 1130 level still holding. And all these holds, we might see price go up again. Yeah, some temporary resistance 1250. Next resistance there, 1340 about there. Yeah, so I think as long as still holding above 1130 and maintaining above this breakout, I think we might just see a bit of consolidation here. Then you can break above this 1250 again, and could have another leg of the rally for off-five. So that's CRDO, Credo Tech. Yeah, so Credo Tech, I think overall still for now still looks okay. Gradual trend still holding about 5 MA along the way. Uh, some support for now is around 55 perhaps. Yeah, could do a reconnect of 10 MA. Because currently pre-market is a bit looks like it's going to open under 5 MA. Next key resistance probably around 65, $65 around here, which was like this very strong support breakdown level. Yeah. So that will be a strong resistance should we come back to retest it in future. Yeah, so for now, I think as long as it holds this trend along like this gradual trend along the 5, 10 MAs around here, still okay. Next one, INTA. INTA is this int app. In app looks like I think still very much range bound for now. After earnings didn't change things also just range bound. Resistance around this $59. Then next one is around $64. So just still looks range bound for now, unless it's a break of 59. Yeah. Yeah, what is about 9:15? I'll take one more question. Sorry, I'm able to take answer all the questions in a bit of time. Next one, last one I'll talk about is App Loving. Okay, so for App Loving, I think for now it's looks like a break of this resistance at 352. Then recently, I think a bit of a pullback. So I think for now support could be this area, like 340, 340, 345, 344 to like 357 this area, which there were some reasons it broke out. So you might be doing a test. So I think as long as 10 MA holds over here, then I think still okay. Since overall this trade still trending along the 10 MA and 5 MA. So it might do a bit of pullback along this holds the retest, then that could be still okay. Next resistance probably around 415, the key resistance for app loving. Okay, sorry, I'm unable to answer all the questions. I'll just stop my sharing, stop my screen here for today. Oh, wait, let me just share I'll put in some the link to the survey as well as the link to join the poems group in the chat. Just give me a moment. Okay. Yeah, so I appreciate if you can help me fill out the survey form. Yeah, I've dropped the link in the webinar chat. So if you have any feedback on today's session on how you can improve your experience, but feel free to leave your feedback. I would appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, feel free to join our here Poem 3 community on technical analysis. You can download using the link over here. Then if you have any question about TA, you can just drop it over there. Then I'll answer it whenever I see it. Don't no need to wait until every Monday. Then you ask. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can just leave it over there. Then I'll answer it over there. Then also you have new, feel free to join the Poems Telegram group at Poems TA as well. Yeah, so I'll post like similar TA content over in these two channels. And so that's it for today. Thanks for all. Yeah. So I see a question. Where can I post our questions on the app? Yeah. So if you go into the Poem Street app, right, you see there's a section under the community groups. So that one you click into technical analysis. So that one you can just post anything related to TA. Then you can have a discussion. You can then I'll post what my view are. Then we can discuss also. Yeah, so thanks everyone. Thanks for your kind attention, attendance as well as your questions. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a good trading week ahead. And cheers everyone. I see you all again next week. Yeah, thanks. Bye bye.